I switched it out in the computer.
I don't want to march it over here.
Okay.
Good. All right, everybody, please rise. Welcome to the November 15th Town Board meeting. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Present.
Here.
Here.
Here. Here.
Okay. I have one item for special consideration for the Horizons. I'll present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is acceptance of minutes, the irregular meeting, October 4th and October 18th. I'll present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is a public hearing. Public hearing proposed local law to amend the town code to enact a tree preservation regulation. And now, we're not ready with that, but I can open it and table it, and continue, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'll make a motion to open it. Can I have a second?
Second.
Anybody wish to speak about the tree law? Sir?
Good evening. I'm Jonathan Cantor, a resident of the town of Fishkill, and I wanted to thank the board for the opportunity to work with you all on the preparation of this new law, particularly Carmine Estevan and Louise Daniele. We worked together on this pretty much, and in doing so, we collected numerous samples of tree laws around the Hudson River Valley. We put together what we thought were the best and most reasonable parts of some of those laws and put it all together into a new Chapter 140. So I want to remind everyone that the comprehensive plan update that was just recently adopted earlier this year recommended that the town board consider new tree preservation regulations. The current code does have some guidelines about tree preservation and removal, but really weren't very specific, and so I think the new law will really help the town out. So I know there's probably going to be, a lot more discussion about it, and there's probably still some more work to be done on it, such as preparing the seeker documents for it and things like that. But, so I don't want to go on and on. There are some things I probably will say next time with the continuation of the hearing, but I just wanted to indicate my strong support for the new law, and again, wanted to thank especially Carmine and Louise for the work that we all did on it.
Thank you, John.
Thanks. Look
Thank you,
forward
Mr.
to
Chairman.
seeing how it proceeds.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Can I ask the preparers of this a question? Because I try to go through it as rather voluminous, very detailed, and congratulations on it. But I could have skipped over if a neighbor has a dead tree. Can they take it down, or do they need to get a permit to do that?
Dead trees are exempt.
Dead trees are exempt. Okay. That might be a personal question. That's why I asked that. Okay.
Anybody else want to speak? So I'll make a motion to continue this public hearing till December 6th. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is the public hearing on the Roundabout Sewer District Consolidation. Make a motion to open it. Can I have a second?
Second.
Brian, all in favor?
Aye.
Does anybody want to speak about the consolidation of the Roundabout Sewer District Consolidation? Anybody on the board?
Just so we're clear, all that's being done here is taking outside users and making them in-district users. There's no other expansion the district proposed.
This is all about funding that we received and it needs to be completed by a certain time.
That's correct. Administratively, when you have all in-district users, it's more effective than if you have to calculate for both in-district and out-of-district users, and the town's received a grant. That grant money will be applied toward this consolidation.
So cutting costs by cutting back on duplication of Not services, but administrative
That's
services.
correct.
Right.
Good. All right, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing. Can I have a second?
Second.
John, all in favor?
Aye.
Next one up is a public hearing on the roundabout water district consolidation. I'll present that as a motion to open. Can I have a second?
Second.
Carmine, anybody like to speak about this? Anybody on the board? And the same thing goes for the water, right?
This is the exact same thing, only it's a water district that you're bringing outside users into.
Everybody okay with it?
Yes.
Make a motion to close the public hearing. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next up is public hearing on the special district benefit unit rolls. This is a thing that we do every year. I'll make a motion to open it. Can I have a second?
Second.
Carmine, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody wish to speak about the benefit rolls? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to close. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make the motion, and
Brian?
made it. All right, we have no new employees to introduce. Next up is privilege of, I'm sorry?
We have a few, they're just not here.
I don't see anybody here. Okay. Next up is privilege over the floor for general town items. You can speak about anything regarding the town of Fishkill. Just don't make any personal, what do you want to call it? Don't direct anything personally to anybody on the board, and feel free to speak. Russ.
Good evening. Russell Alley, 142 Old Route 9. I just had for my general knowledge, three related questions. I couldn't seem to find in the town code in what zone or district the operation of a junkyard is allowed. And I couldn't find it. And what constitutes a junkyard rather than just too much junk on someone's property? And three, how and at what point is it determined to be too much, and what can be done about it?
Okay.
Those are the questions. I couldn't find it.
You don't know? Let's see if we can answer his question. Can I try to get that done for you tomorrow? Okay, don't let me forget. Let me know. I'll ask Joel to find out and pull out that section.
Is chapter 90 the garbage one you had asked us to put on?
I know it's something different.
Oh,
He's asking about junkyards like cars and stuff like that.
Oh, businesses.
Businesses,
Okay.
yeah.
We do have one.
We have something.
Yeah, we have a quote on it. Yeah, we can try to find it. Okay.
Anybody else? Sir? Eric?
Yes.
How you doing, Eric?
Hi, my name is Eric Fife. I'm the Executive Director of Stony Hill Foundation. We're the nonprofit who oversees Stony Hill Farm Environmental Ed Center. And I haven't been to one of these meetings before. I just wanted to stop in because there's going to be some discussion around the Little Red Schoolhouse site, which as an organization we're very enthusiastic about preserving and finding ways to recognize the historic significance of that site. But I also just wanted to extend a welcome to anyone who wanted to come by the farm for a tour and talk about opportunities to better connect the town and the village with the farm. I expect that a lot of you probably already spend time there. We have a huge number of Fishkill residents who community garden with us, bird watch, kids who come to field trips and summer camp and all kinds of things. So it's a wonderful place for my family and folks. But I know for the town of Fishkill as well, and I just welcome opportunities to collaborate in the future.
Well, what is your thought on the process of acquiring the property, one way or the other?
Of the Little Red Schoolhouse site?
Yes.
I've worked with the foundation for the last 3 years, and there's been a little bit of a confusion of who owns that corner property right there. Whether it belongs to, whether it was ultimately passed down to the Beacon School District, once called School District 4 and then consolidated, or whether essentially when, prior to Stony Hill Farm Environmental Education Center, before that land was owned by the state of New York, is owned by the Verplank family, and when it was deeded to the state of New York, it actually was originally deeded to the Department of Education. It was used by University of Farmingdale for kind of practice farm purposes. But in the original deed, the Little Red Schoolhouse was still operating as a public school, and so the Verplank family essentially said, that the schoolhouse can continue operating, the rest of the land, can be used by New York State, and so there is a little bit of a gray area in the language as to does it then revert back to, the Stony Kill farmlands after the schoolhouse ceases to operate? Does it return to the Verplank family? Or does it remain as a property of the school system? And I think that's been kind of a confusion for what seems like decades. And it's Tom Mosh, who is he here? Yeah. Oh, a town of Fishkill resident, and Ozzy and I have had some conversations around it, trying to figure out how do we preserve this site, because as it stands right now, as the director of a nonprofit, if I have volunteers come to me and say, I'd love to weed whack or help restore the sign that is rotted away, I can't give them permission to go out there because there isn't kind of clear title to the property. And so in January, I contracted with a title search firm that was recommended by Scenic Hudson. They do a lot of this kind of stuff, gray areas on land ownership. And unfortunately, that process has taken a very long time, I think because it sounds like there were records that were stored improperly. The searcher has gone back and forth to Albany a bunch of times. But it sounds like they're very close to being completed with that search process. And I actually just, seeing this was on the agenda today, I reached out to the title attorney this morning. And the way that they work is they have a local searcher in the county, and they're trying to find out what's going on with him and what the latest is. But I think we're very close to having some package of documents that says this is the research that we've done. We can say definitively it's owned by the school system, or definitively this would have gone back to the Verplank family after it ceased to operate a school, or this would have been folded in with the broader 750-acre Stony Kill Environmental Ed Center property. So it's kind of to be determined. But as an organization, our board, our volunteers are very interested in finding a way to preserve that history and steward it in one way or another, and looking at ways of moving forward.
Okay. So you think you might have an answer by mid-January?
Well, I think they were originally thinking it was going to go much faster, and I don't know if it was because this was so complicated or what have you. So I would hope to have an answer within the next couple months, but I hope certainly by mid-January, which would be a year since we contracted them. So.
All right. So what I'll do is I'll ask the board to table this to the first February meeting.
Okay.
And if you hear anything in advance that you can give me, we can always move it back on the agenda later.
Okay. Sounds great.
Thank you very much for coming and giving a little history lesson on that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Wait a
And-
second,
yes.
You said something about community farming?
Yes, yeah.
I need to find out more about that, because we
Okay.
love to garden some.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can give you a quick whirlwind. Essentially, 20,000 plus people visit Stony Kill Farm every
Yeah.
year. Birders, folks just, walking their grandkids to see the cows and sheep. And we have about 133 community garden plots that are, it's just this incredible diverse area where people are growing things from all over the world. But I will say it's very competitive to get in.
Oh.
So we're shifting to a lottery-based system in January because our waiting list was about 4 years long. So, but I'll leave my card, and then
Would you?
if you want to chat, and like I said, I'd be happy to give anyone a tour and talk about the.
Thanks. Thank you, Eric.
I want to get in on the lottery.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I got your phone number.
I was just going to ask you to spell your last name.
Thanks.
There you go, sir. Thank you.
What?
When we got to-
He'll just tell me that.
Yeah.
Maybe leave a card here in case somebody out here wants to get your info.
Anybody else like to speak? All right. Ms. LaGoy?
Hi. I just wanted to remind the community that Stray Help has their annual Saturday spay-neuter clinic. This is our thank you to local veterans who want to take advantage of a special that we run specifically for them. It's $35 to spay or neuter their pet cat. We reserve several appointments specifically for veterans. I think that there might be 1 or 2 left. So we also have bake sale and other activities, and Stray Help loves Stony Kill. They actually have accepted several of our working cats, so that was a really great thing several years ago. So I also wanted to let people know that tomorrow is another public hearing in regards to the corner Jackson and Main development project. The public hearing was adjourned or extended till tomorrow, Thursday, 6 p.m. in the Village. And I just want to clarify, because again, there's a lot of confusion, it seems, or people are misinformed. This is not a right of use project. This is a special use project. So that gives the notifications, it makes things a little bit different, because this is not just a, clear-cut and simple type of project. What I specifically would like to know from the town, there's a Form 239, and there's different variations of it. There's an L, there's an NN, there's an M, and what it is an intermunicipal notification. It is my understanding that neighboring residences within either 250, I know New York State asks for 500 feet, but I believe the village enacted a 250 feet notification. The residences that were within 250 feet were not notified of this zoning code change, so, which is what's landing us in this mess with the Jackson House, the Jackson and Main project. What I am curious about, I know that the village did notify the county of this project. What I would like to know, of this zoning code change from 2021, what I want to know is if the town of Fishkill was notified, which I don't believe that they were, but the burning question of the day is, were they legally required to notify the town, because the town is within 250 feet of the edge of this proposal. So I'm hoping that I can get a definitive answer. I'm really not able to find anything on the E-code. There's been several volunteers who have looked for it. We've called multiple agencies, and we are not getting a clear answer, and so we turn to the town, because this pertains to the town, to find out whether or not that is required.
Okay. Mr. Gaba?
Well, I think she's talking about General Municipal Law 239, and General Municipal Law 239 requires notification to go to the county planning department. Generally does not require notice to go to adjoining municipalities. However, local codes can require notice to be sent to adjoining municipalities. I'm not familiar with the village code, so I can't really speak to that.
Is there anything in the village code that says they have to notify the town?
Well, again, I'm not able to find it, but I'm not an attorney, so I would certainly feel more comfortable having it looked into.
So Mr. Gaba, it's not if it's not in their code to notify a municipality, there's no violation. Is that basically just
Well,
of
what
it?
you're talking about is a notice requirement. They would just have to renotice the meeting. It's not really a violation. I guess the question is, did the town receive a notice from the village? I hate to pass the buck, but I think the clerk would know better than I would.
I have the answers, but nobody asked.
Let's
I
have the
actually
answers.
did ask you, and you said that you
hold on
couldn't
a second,
find
hold on a
it.
second, Ann. What's the answer?
The answer is, this has been foiled by your friend.
Mhm.
I'm sure you have the answer to that.
I don't, actually, or else I wouldn't be here.
But I don't know if it's appropriate to say who it was, but
Okay,
one of the people in your group
okay,
filed FOIL in those two things.
okay,
We do not have those documents.
Okay.
I gave her an explanation so that she might understand a little better, so she does have those.
okay, then I will find that out.
Information, same thing.
Becky, speaking of
Yeah, Mike, we got 5 mics, you have no mic.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
The 239 is a Dutchess County law, it's not
Okay.
a town law,
Mhm.
and it has to be in, we're talking about the village.
Right.
Any municipality would have to have it in their code that adjoining municipalities are
Right.
notified. If it's not in their code, they don't have to.
Then it's not required.
They don't have to do it. It's not
Okay,
required.
because I know that they did notify the county.
Well, there's,
Right,
that's a
right.
239, because the county planning department, and Mr. Cantor can verify this, anytime the town, even us, Debbie or my office, if we're doing a project, we have to upload the documents to the county
Right.
for their comment.
Right,
Okay, so that's the 239 form, is that comment form.
gotcha.
The
Mhm.
request for them to comment, to
Okay.
review and comment.
Okay,
It's not, it's only a county thing, so other municipal, adjoining towns wouldn't have to be notified of that unless it's in their code. Now, I know it's in our code.
Hours, right?
It's
right,
in our code,
Which
but
Phillips-
I would have no idea if it's in the village code.
right,
Only the village attorney would know that, or, you'd have to read the code.
right,
No.
right, yeah.
But the other person in your group, she has those two full answers, okay, Ann?
I will
If
ask.
that helps.
It does help. I mean,
Okay.
I'll ask for that information. Thank you.
So I just want to go back to the 250 and excuse me, the 250 and 500 feet. Elaborate a little bit so we can ask the questions again.
So, I think they're just guidelines from New York State that they recommend people within 500 feet to, and I think it falls into the same, it has to be enacted by the governing body. So New York State recommends a 500-foot notice to notify the residences that are within 500 feet. But it seems...
That's on local code.
Huh?
That's the same thing.
Right,
You're
well, it
talking
seems
apples
that
and
they
oranges.
enacted...
I'm sorry, Ann, go ahead.
I'm sorry, yeah, just to complete, because I
A lot of
kind of know
people
where
have been
you're
asking
heading with
about
that.
this, so.
So it looks as though, and again, I'm not an attorney, I'm somebody who's reading the code, it looks as though they are to notify residences within 250 feet.
Okay.
So
And you're saying
that's
people
from
that
what
were
I
within
can-
the 250 were not notified?
Not about that zoning code change.
All right, where does the line begin when you do something like that, Steve?
The property line.
So if this is the property line, 250 from this line up,
And to the side and to the side.
not from the middle,
No, sir.
so it'd be the end of the property?
Yes,
right
sir.
there.
Of course, you can read it differently in your code, that's just the general rule.
General rule,
Right.
But I've never seen it written that you measure from the center of the property or from just the development site. I've always seen it from the edges. As far as the 500 and 250 goes, General Municipal Law 239M requires that referral be made to county planning if there's a county or state roadway within 500 feet of the property, if there's a park
There
within
is.
500 feet of the property, if there's a river body or stream within 500 feet of the property. 250 feet would be something that would be enacted locally. There's no
Right.
state law requirement that a municipality provide notice of zoning changes to adjoining owners. That's always in your local code, and that will set what the distance is and what it's measured from.
So if it's on a state road, it's gotta be 500 feet?
The state road requirement just has to do with referral to county planning. It doesn't have to do with notice to
Right.
neighbors.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
And are you talking about notification of village residents within that, is that who you're talking about?
Well, it would be village and town residents, because the edge of that property, 250 feet, in fact, 237 feet to be exact, goes to Florence, and that is...
Because I was
yes,
wondering that.
Yes.
Okay.
You can look on Dutchess County parcel access, and you can do measurements exactly from every...
Interesting. I was thinking that would be beyond 250, so. it's interesting.
No, 237.
Thank you, Ms. LaGoy. Our presentation for the cadets got tabled to December 20th. Brian?
Yes. December 20th. I'm sorry for the confusion on somehow getting this in here. I guess I wrote an email a while ago, and then we had a space. But they're anxious to come, but this is not a good time, so we're going to wait till December 20, and they're all anxious to be here and show off their awards and talk about their accomplishments.
All right, I'll stay with you with the reports.
Liaison member reports.
Yes. I think we discovered that During this period that we had off, I certainly attended the Fishkill Historical Society Craft Fair. I saw a number of people there. It was a beautiful day. I'm looking forward to engaging the Fishkill Historical Society more in the near future. The Fall Festival, also from, it was supposed to be at Gearing Park, but there was inclement weather, so it was switched indoor at the rec center, and that was handled extremely well by the rec center staff, Mr. Maeda and everybody else, and it was extremely successful and well attended. Most recently, we had Veterans Day. We had a great Veterans Day ceremony here in the town, and for everyone, more people probably know this than I did at the time, but on the 11th day, on the 11th month of the 11th day at the 11th hour, that is when Veterans Day is to be celebrated. And so, yes, the village had one at that same time, as well as many other municipalities. But we had a great attendance, board members, Ozzy was there, Mr. Titino was there. He started talking before the event began, and we were exchanging comments about the beginning of the origins of Veterans Day. And of course, if you know Mr. Titino, you know his head is full of lots of information. And I said, why don't you say something at the beginning of this thing and educate people? And so he was very well done, and kudos to him. The vice chair of our Veterans Committee, Mr. Huggart, who is a Navy veteran, and I hope I pronounced the last name correctly, he was asked to say a few words. Our chairman, Virgil Capillari, was making remarks at the for the county in Poughkeepsie, and he was very moving, and he asked one of his cohorts there from our Veterans Committee, who happened to be in attendance, Mr. Richard Manna, who is an Army vet from the Vietnam era, if he would help place the wreath. And I understand from Mr. Hoggart and Mr. Capillari that this committee that we created has become very meaningful to a lot of our veterans, including Mr. Manna, and we had a really good turnout. Thank you, Chief, for attending. Certainly thank you, cadets, also for being the honor guard during that period. I know there's an important meeting in the village tomorrow. For those who aren't attending, Books and Badges is going on at Blodgett Library, also at 6 o'clock. And that is all except for, when's our next meeting? December 6th. So I just found this out, Louise, today, because I was talking to, more information will be coming out, and I know you'll be presenting it, but Mr. Maeda said, yes, mentioned December 8th is a town holiday sort of party for the kids that they're just starting to arrange at the rec center, and they're going to have Santa and everything else, but details will come out, and I know you'll have that. I just learned this not long ago today, and you know, so I just think that it's good to go ahead and have parents put that on the calendar. I'm done.
Okay, so I congratulated Ozzy on his victory on election night. He and I actually had a meeting Monday morning in his office to talk about the next few meetings as we end 2023. I do want to thank all the candidates who took the time out to run, and I want to thank both parties for picking up the signs on a timely basis. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Carmine.
Good evening, everybody. A couple updates on some projects that we're doing. I'm the hands-on in the field guy, so it's pretty exciting stuff here. So just a couple updates. The rec roof, we have a meeting with the vendor on November 28th. We're going to end up signing the contract finally to start the rec roof early spring. So that's exciting news. Moving forward, on December 11th, Louise, you can tell Jay and the staff, December 11th is when we're going to install the railings, the handicap railings for the rec center. We got a couple other good stuff happening in the town. Over at the highway garage, we're installing an 80 by 80 new highway garage that's going to house some of our equipment that keep it dry during the winter. Right now, the footings are in, the walls are in. Tomorrow, we're going to start the actually ground floor, and hopefully in a couple weeks, the building would be erected totally. So we're looking forward to that.
Savings.
We
You
did
gonna have a ribbon cutting?
We should.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ribbon cuttings we're going to have.
Good.
So we saved quite a bit of money we did a lot of stuff in-house. The project has cost us, some money, but it's a wonderful thing, having some new structures and something you can be proud of. And one of the last things Mr. Schofield can hang on to his, trophy room, one of his successes of finishing this building. And our goal is to try to get it done before the end of the year. Moving on, a couple other things that we're working on for next year. I'm pushing, trying to finalize at Gearing Park, we have pickleball courts, tennis courts that are going. We're going to redo the basketball courts over there. So really started meeting the vendors, tell them this is what I expect. Springtime, we want to start working on them, getting those done. New drainage over in Gearing Park, new blacktop on the whole entire park. So Gearing Park is really going to have a big facelift for next year. It's one of the things that I'm proud with the parks and the highway. We had our first meeting there at the parks where collectively together we're going to work as a team to do these projects, and it's just exciting to see the guys working together. Moving on over to Doug Phillips. Again, met with a vendor that's going to we were proposing 4 pickleball courts there, but doing the measurements, I think I can get 6 pickleball courts there. So having 6 pickleball courts is something where you can actually have a tournament. So if we can get 6, I'm pretty excited because a lot of people are going to use the park. I've been down to the Sensory Park, and I know you'll probably talk about that a little bit. That Sensory Park is being used tremendously. It's amazing. Every time you go down there, 2, 4, 5, 10 families down there are using it. It's like, wow. It's very successful. And our one dilemma that we have down at Doug Phillips is it floods. When it rains, any rainstorm, we get a lot of water sitting. When a creek overflows, there's nothing we can do. But we're putting a proposal for next year, and thanks to the board, we're actually putting new drainage down there. It's going to make a huge difference for the kids, the families, and the big thing is that we're going to repave the whole park next year. That's exciting news, and the basketball court. So we have a lot of projects happening, and going on to Jean Van Pelt. If you haven't drove by it, oh my gosh, the park looks wonderful.
Beautiful.
We're going to take it a step further. We put in a budget to redo the deck. Brandon and the guys are so excited. They actually did a drawing already. They're going to present to me. Let's see if we can save a couple dollars from the budget. And we're going to put a new deck out there. We're going to do it in-house, poured concrete with nice railings. That whole area, if we have some money left over, maybe we'll put some barbecue grills out there built in. So a lot of exciting stuff. I look forward to next year. I'm motivated to take on these tasks, and my goal is with the highway and buildings and grounds is get these done in a manner where we're going to use them and enjoy them for the summer.
Council.
Thank you, Carmen. Let's see. Unfortunately, the liaison reports sometimes turn into what we have done personally versus what the purpose of the liaison report was initially intended for. So for that reason, here is what I have done since the last meeting. On October 19th, I attended the Oktoberfest at the Rec Center and enjoyed serving the seniors with Marianne and Lauren and Jay, too, another great event. Marianne advised me that the seniors went on a 2-day trip to Lancaster and saw 2 amazing shows, the Sight and Sound Show and the American Music Theater. The Winterfest is scheduled for December 8th, which will be in the Rec Center inside. Special guests that will be attending are Santa and Mrs. Claus, and Marianne said the times will be coming probably in the early evening, so we'll let you know, and we'll post something when we have the exact times for that. On October 23rd, I attended the Fishkill Police Cadet Program at the Town Hall. A state police sergeant who used to work for me had 2 of his sons in the program, as well as another retired state police sergeant's nephew that I knew. So it's nice to see generations of law enforcement continuing, as as well as those who were creating their own future pathways. It was a job well done by everyone. Let's see. October 29th was my birthday. I used to not like the idea of getting older, but now I'm very appreciative to be alive for another year. October 31st, I met with Ken from Dogwood Apartments, along with the supervisor in Carmine. We inspected improvements and discussed wording on the language for the agreement, which we're going to be discussing later, which I want to make sure is actually correct, because I don't think it is in this one. On November 4th, I attended our best-dressed hometown hero, Tyrone Hendricks, and his wife Joyce's 80th birthday party with their family and friends. I'm grateful for their friendship and enjoyed the party very much. I hope they celebrate many more birthdays together. On November 6th, the Village of Fishkill trustee meeting was canceled. There is, however, a public hearing this Thursday, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. for the planning board regarding the Jackson and Main Street apartment complex project. For those who continue to be ill-informed and believe that the town residents or elected officials should not be involved with this matter or speak out on it, they are wrong. Village issues affect town residents, and it is a public hearing. So no matter where you live, you can go and speak about issues for or against it. On November 9th, I attended the planning board meeting. As I sat there with one more meeting to attend as a liaison to the town board, I have to say I was very proud to hear citizens being given an opportunity to speak at the beginning when a project was first being presented. An accomplishment I am happy to have been a part of creating that law with the prior board. On November 11th, I attended the Veterans Ceremony in the town of Fishkill with the town board and the public, including the many members of the Garden Club. Thank you to all of the veterans in our town and everywhere for their service to our town and country. November 13th, I attended a meeting with Carmine and Joel. Joel requested that we get together to try and review some of the amendments that may be made for the tree law, and Carmine and I are going to set up a meeting with John Cantor so that we can combine all those amendments and bring them back to the board. Let's see, on November 14th, last night, I attended the Verplank Garden Club meeting. They are preparing for their annual holiday craft workshop on December 9th, which is very popular, from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. More information will be coming, and I'll remind everybody at the next meeting for that as well. And thank you to all of the Garden Club members who planted 600 bulbs in our pollinator garden. We appreciate their continued dedication to beautify our town. Throughout the month, as Carmen has stated, he and I have been checking on the playground at Doug Phillips Park and meeting many people who are using it with their children and grandchildren. One mother commented how happy she was that it's fenced in so she could have her son run around and have fun without having to chase after them. But as a reminder, please remember to close the gate behind you, because sometimes people leave the gate open, and some people don't put their dogs on a leash, so we don't want the dogs running in there or ruining anything, so please close the gate behind you. I'm also working with Carmine and the Buildings and Grounds, along with Lee's Trees and a state police escort, to begin taking down the hometown banners for the winter to store them. We'll figure out the dates on that. Today I followed up at Dogwood with a few items that needed to be addressed, that we'll address them once we get up to that, into the agenda. Thank you.
I apologize.
You're not going to give that to us, are you?
No, it's just, I was in a room with 20 supervisors last night, and there's a lot of, yeah, hooting and hollering at that meeting. And anyway, I just like to thank the citizens of Fishkill for re-electing me. I said it 4 years ago, we're going to take this town from being run by the developers to the citizens and improving your quality of life. We've done that for the last 4 years. You've seen what Carmine has lined up with the rest of the town board members for next year. I also have a big plans for our 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and I look forward to doing it with the board members presently sitting here. Once again, thank you, and I'd like to thank John. And again, the citizens of the town of Fishkill for giving us great honor. Sorry. Now Carmine's going to take over from here.
I just have something to read. Just, we haven't had our e-govs out lately, but I just wanted to, if any people that are watching, we do have 2 openings in the highway. We're looking for a full-time mechanic and a motor equipment operator. So please go to the town website and apply the applications there. There's a, excuse me. Our water and sewer vendor, Camo, Mike Trumper, the owner, we have a certificate of appreciation that's from the Roundabout Sewer Treatment Plant for volunteering in the statewide COVID-19 public health response As participating member of the New York State Wastewater Surveillance Network, your facility's commitment to this network demonstrates your continued service to public and health and safety. And this is to Camo Mike Tremper. We love you, Mike.
There you go.
Those are good
Can you
people.
take over the discussion items, please?
You want to?
You want to do it?
You want to do it? I'll do it. You want to do it?
You can do it if you want to.
Okay. Since the supervisor's losing his voice, let's move on to discussion. Proposed law repealing chapter, reenacting the same to include regulations for tree preservation. We're going to table this and continue this until December 6th. Can I have a motion?
No.
Oh, sorry, discussion.
So
Sorry.
I just table it.
Table it, good.
So it's good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Discussion of Little Red Schoolhouse property.
That's tabled also, right?
Table next.
We're going to table that to February 1st.
February 1st?
Yes.
Okay. It's February
Should-
7th.
February 7th.
Okay.
Should we table it, or should we wait for Eric to get back and then put it on the agenda? You know?
back
to us, we can move
it up.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll table it this February 7th.
Okay.
Number 3, discussion amending the peddling and soliciting permit application to streamline process.
So, Mr. Galba, I've gotten some complaints from people that want to be vendors, but the process is too erroneous, too long to do. Can we streamline it? Can we streamline it?
I thought we were looking at the peddling permit,
We're looking at the filming permit.
the filming permit, okay. I'll have to look at it further and get back to you, Ozzy. I don't know what else to tell you on that.
Second meeting in January?
Sure.
Second meeting in January.
117.
That would be the 17th. Thank you.
Item number 4, discussion of resolution for amending the extended term for agreement with Dutchess County for shared services, crisis interventions training.
It's on for resolution
Yeah.
and consent.
Oh, it's on consent?
That's good. I think,
Okay.
yeah.
Number 5, discussion resolution to reauthorize agreement with the Dutchess County for shared service program for procurement.
Procurement.
Procurement,
Shows that.
That's on for
Okay.
resolution.
good to go.
Good.
Volume purchasing.
Discussion of inventory of highway machinery, tools, and equipment. Everybody review that?
Yeah.
Number 7, discussion of resolution for budget modification to the 2023 general fund adopting budget for highway building product.
Wait, what is that one?
Resolution 2.
What was, can you explain that one?
So we fell short on the building that we're erecting together, so we took some money, if you look at, we took some money from within the highway budget. We didn't take it from anywhere else. We found money and we actually moved it over.
Okay. It's just, I know that you weren't here for when we started that, but it was,
Yeah.
the supervisor knows. There was supposed to be a promise of a $300,000 building, which I didn't believe and hasn't come true, so I'm happy to see we're not taking money from anywhere else, but hopefully it will get done properly.
Yes, we moved money within the highway, so,
Okay, thank you.
which was good. We were able to find the money. Discussion resolution to appoint Daniel Quattrochi as court clerk.
This is the retro hiring that His Honor found a person, yeah.
I just want to make a note about that. I know it's a judge that wanted to do that, but in the summertime, we hired someone for the rec center, and that person was not allowed to start a week earlier. So I just think in the future, if we're going to be doing that for people, we should do it for everybody, not just for certain people.
Can I do that? Instead of waiting for a town board meeting, somebody start early?
No, the town board, well, they can ratify your action if that's what you're asking. But the
If
hiring
I
is
just
done by
call if I call the board member and say it's okay to do it, then
And then they subsequently vote to ratify the early hiring, yeah, that works.
that's the way it works? Okay. All right.
You can do
That's what I
that.
tried to do in the summer, but it didn't work. Thank you.
Okay. Number 9, discussion of budget modification to the 2023 general fund adopting budget for additional parks training. Any discussion about that?
Wait, which one? Pickleball? Oh,
No,
training, for
training. Yeah,
training?
for parks training.
Yeah, so you want to explain that?
Yeah, so what we're doing is, I believe in building a bench for the future, because buildings and grounds and highway are working together. So all the parks guys now have training. We put money in for them to train to get their CDL license. So when we have a larger snowstorm, if we need to go to the well for additional labor, we have the parks employees trained and ready to go for heavy snowstorms. Or if we need to have a big storm or a microburst, we need them to drive one of the larger trucks. They're starting their training, they have their CDL, we have additional people to pull from. And I believe about promoting within, so if I get them started early at that level, it gives them a chance to move up to MEO sooner.
Good job.
Thank you. Number 10, discuss a resolution for budget modification to the 2023 general fund adopted budget for pickleball courts.
That's what you just talked about, right?
Yes, and this is what happened is we had a vendor that we chose to do the pickleball courts. That vendor bailed on us. So we went to the second bidder. He said, yes, he'll honor that. But now that vendor is booked until next year. So he said, well, unfortunately, prices have gone up, the materials have gone up, labor's gone up. I have to charge you a little bit more than when I originally gave you a proposal on. So that's the amendment.
Good.
Number 11, discussion resolution appointing Cassie Scott as part-time police assistant.
Fine.
Number 12, discussion to appoint Miles McKenna as coach, scorekeeper, part-time recreation assistant. Good, guys.
We're all good.
13, discussion resolution modification to 2023 recreation fund adopting budget for the CPR first aid program. Good. Number 14, discussion resolution for budget modification to 2023 general fund adopting budget for supervisor expenditures. What are you buying, supervisor? So, any
You
questions?
can't talk, yeah.
What's that dollar amount?
But you,
What was it used for?
I can speak for him when he speaks
Lots-
for you. He used it for
lots-
paper, yeah, and I believe.
Lots of copies of State of the Town.
Yes, which were loved by many of the people in my neighborhood when you knocked on their door, so. And you
they're-
transferred the money from within your department, so it wasn't any money that came from
Correct.
anywhere else.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people didn't love it, but I thought it was a waste, but that's fine. We have a difference-
So just,
we
Ozzy,
have
so
a
just,
difference of opinion. Let's move on.
Ozzy, so I can clarify, I've knocked on doors recently for helping other people campaign, and there were people in different parties that was the first thing they said. They said, we have never had a supervisor come to our door before and tell us about the town and tell us about what was done. So they were really impressed. So I don't know what negative people would think that's not a good thing, but almost everybody that I know thought it was a really good idea to actually know what's done, what was being done, and what the future is for our town. So thank you, Supervisor.
Thank you.
Number 15, discussion of traffic camera placement at the intersection of Merritt Boulevard and Vanderbilt Way.
We had a fatality at that intersection about a month ago, and I was thinking about adding a camera there. I got some money left in my budget because I'm not going to replace Greg to the end of the year. Are you guys okay with me moving on that?
Yeah, I'm just curious how it works.
I don't know yet.
Who monitors it, or?
Well, it would be something that gets recorded, probably by a week, and if nothing happens, it just loops over, one of those type of cameras.
Well, I'd love to hear, I mean,
I want to get permission from you guys to move on it.
yeah, I'd love to hear how it works. I'm very curious.
I don't like cameras myself. I understand the reason why you want it and the fatality and stuff, but as an afterthought, like, there's a lot of questions before we move on it, because who's watching it? How is it being installed? You said you wanted it to possibly be solar, not electrical. What else is going to be looked at? I just think there's more issues than just simply saying, yes, we'll put it up. So I think we should look into it a little bit more before saying yes.
I am curious about the monitoring part, and I do hope it's solar.
Yeah.
I know.
There's no real electric out there.
Right.
And the people that live north in that development on Merritt are complaining about cannot make left-hand turn lanes out of that development with the extra 100 units coming in there. We might have to consider stop signs in that area.
Right.
So, that'll be something I'll talk to you about that later.
Supervisor, if I may, I think I might have a good idea for this camera. As I was at a SIMA show for snow and ice management, they have these cameras that Supervisor and I talked about that measure snow depth, road temperature, and also the area view. Maybe we could put that camera, it's a solar-powered camera. It's about $2,500. And we put that on there and also can give you a view, we can monitor it right to the highway garage, right on our computers. We keep storage. We can monitor the road temperature. We can monitor the snow depth. It gives us weather reports, and then we can see the view of the traffic that's there too. So it actually, let's kill two birds with one stone.
What else is it monitoring though? That's my concern. So I don't know. I'd have to think about that because what is it monitoring besides what you want it to monitor? It could catch other people's privacy issues and, yeah.
And what about equipment in your office to store, is that going to be an added expense?
No, it costs $2,500 a year, and the corporation that runs this camera, it's solar powered, it'll run, it even has a little light on it, it gives you back feedback, and if you want any camera rolls, it'll give you back camera rolls. I can go right on the PC, and it'll give you all information that you need. We can set the standard how we want it. I think we should look at it, because this will really help us out too, monitoring the roads for how much salt to put down, when to put it down, how much snow depth. Ideally, I'd like to put 3 of these around the community. One up on a mountain, one down there on Brockway, and one right near that area. So you're getting 3 different areas within the town, because what happens on the mountain is different than what's gonna happen over near a river. It could be raining at the river, it could be snowing up on the mountain. This will also help, I talked to Dr. Bonk about this, is that, I don't know if everybody realizes, the superintendent of schools does not communicate with the highway superintendent of highways. Does it make sense, right? They're closing schools, how do they know how the traffic is out there? Well, what the schools do, they send a driver out 2 o'clock in the morning, and they go up the mountain, they go around, and they're driving. Well, how unsafe is that? How about we have a central location where we have these 3 cameras within, just say, the town of Fishkill, the highway the school superintendent calls me and says, hey, how's the roads look? Well, you can go look, here's the camera, you can see what the conditions of the roads are at 2 a.m. in the morning and what the road temperatures are. But there's a lot of good things that this can happen.
So Sharon should be back Monday. Talk to her. I got about 12,000 left in my budget. Let's do it this year.
But that sounds like it's $7,500 in perpetuity, so every
Just
year?
one, we can start with the one.
Yeah.
2,500.
All right, so when I'm not here, everybody remember me saying he's spending money.
So is it, Carmine, is therefore the video going to be stored in the cloud?
Yes.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
When Sharon gets here, talk to her on Monday and take it out of my budget.
Well, let's see if it meets what
Okay.
you're looking for, but I think that'll be great.
Well, kill 2 birds with one stone. might be-
Yes, yeah, so we can start with the one camera, and then we can expand it if it makes sense.
I love it.
Okay? Just thinking outside the box.
It sounds like a good test.
So are we entertaining?
Second December meeting.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Number 16, discussion of amending Chapter 90 of the Town Code of the Town of Fishkill.
Okay, so we have this law about knocking down old dilapidated houses. But we got property owners that don't clean up their mess. And I got a couple that's taking like years to go to court. Can we streamline that process, and clean it up for them, and then bill them?
Yes, but you're going to want to use a different section of the code than this. You're going to want to enact a property maintenance chapter, which is basically the same as unsafe buildings, except that it says you can't have rubbish in your yard, you can't have dilapidated structures other than buildings, you can't have junk cars, things along those lines. And then same thing with, as it was an unsafe building, you serve a notice on the property owner has an opportunity to come in and present their case to the town board, make a determination that in fact a property maintenance violation exists, and then you put out for bid cleaning up the yard, and then you tax the money that you spent on it back to them, you add it to their tax bill at the end of the year.
Can we make that broad, like noxious materials and things like that?
Yeah, you can make it tall grass, noxious weeds,
Okay.
anything along those lines.
Okay.
Supervisor.
You know what I'd like also?
Don't tell them.
There are certain corners, and maybe people around the town experience what I experience. When you get and you're at a stop sign and you have to look around someone's bush, to see if there's traffic coming. Is there a way is that another section of the code where that needs to be
You'd put
modified?
that
Because
on-
that's a hindrance, just like that fence is a whole thing for people.
You'd put that under your roadways section, streets and roadways, and you'd make a requirement that anybody on a corner property keep however many feet in. You'd have to talk with your highway super to determine how far it should go, or building inspector. Clear, you can have a limitation on how high vegetation is within that triangle area
Yeah.
of the corner.
Right.
And if people fail to maintain it, just like with a property maintenance violation, you can go in and trim or cut or mow or whatever it is you need to do, and then charge back the cost.
I think it's something to work, start working on in January, because I know that that's a big issue. So maybe we'll talk to Highway and
But they're two separate code sections.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I know.
Highways, grass is Carmine, this one's Mr. Gaba. So, the first January meeting, something?
Sure.
I'd say second.
Yeah, okay.
First one's second. First one's busy.
Oh, that's true.
Second.
Second,
Second.
no problem.
Second.
Supervisor,
Just a,
I just have a question about that. So I think Russ had asked earlier what a junkyard is, so somehow do we have to define, so you can't have so many cars on your lot or whatever
can
it
you
is?
review that one too?
I think junkyard's defined in your code, and I'm not familiar with it as I should be, I admit that, but, because I don't do the planning or the zoning, but I think it's a prohibited use in the town.
But I mean,
don't
I'm
think you're
saying
allowed.
it's, what he's describing may sound like to some people, somebody's property is a junkyard, so I think it has to be defined, because some people, their property is their property, and if they want to keep some things there, I'm not opposed to it. I think it has to really be a hindrance and something that needs to be looked at. Otherwise, I feel like we're stepping on people's
Yeah,
privacy issues.
I'd like to be cautious on that too, because some people have several cars and it's their hobby and they work on them, and one person's hobby is another person's junkyard, so I think it's good to be cautious right there.
That's why we're gonna have a public
We've had
hearing.
that war on our
Yeah,
street.
well, then you could limit junk cars, unregistered vehicles to the rear yard, not allow them in the front or the side yard, something along those lines. If you want to leave vehicles out altogether, you can just make it.
No, the reason for this, I want to add vehicles in there.
All right.
There's one guy with 20 cars with no plates on them. I'm elaborating, guys, I don't know, I didn't count the exact cars, but he's got a bunch of cars.
Well, you'll take a look at the draft, and you can include whatever provisions in it you want, and leave out whichever ones you don't. It's something that the board has pretty far leeway with.
Second meeting in January.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good, moving on to number 17, discussion of maternity leave.
I'd like to add a provision in there to give women 4 weeks and men 1 week in maternity leave.
Okay.
Suggestions?
Don't we have something to
Employee
FMLA?
handbook, don't you? Wouldn't you?
Well, it's more like using your time up and stuff, more like using your time.
We're gonna have maternity
I
leave.
printed that out from the employee handbook and we put it in your box.
Yeah, can you explain it a little bit, please?
I didn't really read it, other than we don't have a set maternity leave policy right now. You have to use your own approved.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think you're going to want to bring in your labor council on that and have them draft it. You can adopt it by resolution, but the terms that go in your employee handbook
Well,
are something.
Are you guys okay with the ladies 4 weeks and the
Well,
men
of
1 week?
course. And did Ms. Puma give us any guidance or
I
comments on that?
want to ask you guys first before even bothering with her. Are you guys okay with 4 weeks for women and 1 week for the men? Then I'll tell her and I'll have her draft something.
Absolutely.
You good, good? John's good?
But isn't there,
That's why you really got to have somebody look at this. I'm uncomfortable with just saying 4 and 1. It might be that it's perfectly fine, but you really want to have somebody look at that
Well, I
before
think,
you.
I think I should just see if there's buy-in from the town board.
All right.
yes, we got by.
We're not locked into 4 and 1,
Nope.
just, you have the authority to.
Could be 3, 2, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I'm definitely in for it.
You're definitely for it? Okay.
Could be 4 and 4.
Long overdue, long overdue.
A few months until you get everybody together to see what you're going to do. Where you want to do it.
Second, if we could do it by resolution, you said?
Once you have the language to go into your employee handbook, yes, you can do it by resolution. I'm not sure how to draft that language for the employee handbook.
All right, so second meeting in December 20th.
December 20.
Yep.
Yeah, we can get it done. Okay, moving on to number 18, discussion of plowing service between the town of Fishkill and the Fishkill Historical Society. You want to add Mount Goulian to this deal? And extending the contract for Mount Goulian.
Well, you shouldn't talk about it, Carmine.
Hold on, I'll do my thing.
I'll read it for you if you want.
I'm good with it.
We get benefit from Mount Julian, and what benefit to the town would there be if we were to take care of their Circle Drive?
So I'm going to talk about this, but I'm going to abstain from the vote, because I am a member of the Fishkill Historical Society, and also I'm a trustee. But I just want to talk about this and what they're offering, both the Fishkill Historical Society and Mount Julian. They both offer free tours of their sites for any Fishkill residents. They both are offering the town board to have any meeting they wish there on the road, like they've done in the past.
I guess I have to, I'm a member of the Historical Society, so I guess I shouldn't participate?
No. You don't, do you get a financial benefit from that?
No, but
Then you can vote.
Well, if you had a
You got-
disclosure
you got-
form, we'd all know who
You got
everybody
Carmine
was.
abstaining, so.
Yeah, Carmine's a trustee, though.
I'm a
I'm a member too, but
Yeah,
I'm not a
member
trustee.
too.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm good with it.
So,
I'll vote.
just a quick, the Historical Society, is that new to us now?
Yes.
So we're gonna take on another property and extend Mount Julian.
yes.
Yes. So just give a little history to everybody, literally, is that we used to help maintain those two properties in the past. The supervisor for Ozzy, Albra, he discontinued it, saying that it was against the law to give free services. We found out, talking to her, as long as we get something of value back, that we're allowed to do this. Just give everybody a little history.
So I was against it when we first wanted to do it with the first history site, and I'm against it now, but I'm sure I'm going to be overruled, but that's okay, because it's the ball rolling down the hill. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. At what point do we stop, doing things for nonprofit organizations? I'm sure Ann would like us to plow where the cats are in the backyard too, but it's not going to happen. But, yeah. And also, I know our highway department is very busy, so if this is going to happen, this should not be something where the person is calling up complaining, saying like, why isn't it done? The residents come first. The people who want these things done in exchange for something else will come later. So I'm a no, but I'm sure you're all going to be a yes, but I just wanted to express my views.
Did we do this for Historical Society in the past?
No, this is, well,
We did this.
a while ago.
We've
Yes.
done it. This is an
It was
extension,
discontinued and we're
Yes.
starting again.
and we've been doing the Mount Julian for the last 2 years.
But there's a specific agreement with Mount Julian. Is there going to be a specific agreement with the Historical Society?
Yes, exactly the same wording. Mr. Gabbett, I think you did the wording. We're just going to change the names.
And the address.
And, of course, the address, location, and we're going to have our identification in there and hold harmless.
Aren't they doing something, they're offering something different than Mount Julian though?
Can you send me both those drafts?
No,
Sure.
Okay,
you said
let's do that.
Mount Julian offered us to host a meeting there, where I thought you said that the Historical Society was offering like
Free tours.
free tours for them.
So Mount Julian's offering free tours, so
Right.
is the Fishkill Historical Society.
Right.
They both are offering any meetings that we'd want on a Wednesday or whenever we decide. They both agreed to have meetings there.
So it's similar wording, but not exact wording.
It's going to change this a little.
They just wanted the resolutions from me. They didn't want the agreement.
Yeah.
No.
Well, where are you getting the agreement from?
Did you do the agreement for Mount Julian?
No, that was existing. That was before I got here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just do the 2 resolutions, I'll do the agreements. Okay?
Sure.
Second meeting in December. No. Yeah, first meeting of December.
First?
Yep.
Snow's coming.
Contract.
Number 19, discussion, proposed extension of tax exempt agreement for Horizons at Dogwood Lane LLC.
So, since Ken, the property manager, owner, came months and months ago, Carmine and I and the supervisor have been to Dogwood numerous times. I've met with Kenya and the residents there. There's been a lot to go through, because there's a lot there's a lot of issues at that place. So we've been trying to deal with as many as we can. Carmine was very helpful with Ken to suggest some companies to sand down the sidewalks that were a safety hazard, to trim back some of the trees. They finally got the handicap doors, the pieces to actually open it the way it's supposed to. The hot water system finally came in because people didn't have hot water. So, you know, I believe we had an issue, the 40 years just is like a killer for me, but if it's a catch-22, because if we don't do it, it could legitimately turn into high expensive apartments and not be apartments for people to live there affordably. So I just wanted to, I kind of went back and forth with Ken a few times, and I think the printout is not what the end result was, so I just want to make sure the end result is what was in the email, because the wording was, he just wanted it to be, if we don't get it fixed in 30 days, we'll just tell you when we're going to fix it. And I said, no, I want it narrowed down more than that. So I think our last wording was, if it can't be fixed in 30 days because we're waiting for something, we'll update the code enforcement officer every week to make sure it's going to be done, and then turn it to like 60 days. So we just wanted to have some kind of definitive end goal in sight, instead of letting them just kind of say they're going to fix it whenever it is, and when we're not here, that could mean it's never going to get fixed. So when we get to the end, I just want to make sure the wording is right, because this is not the right end wording. So, and thank you guys for helping, because the people appreciate it. Yeah, it's an ongoing process there. It truly is. Yeah. So.
I was supposed to have been called by Ken Regan to come and see it, and, you know, had pointed out the issues so I could see them and the changes. And I never got a call, so I'm a little aggravated by that, because I had a conversation with him. But I understand you guys did good work, and you looked into it, and I trust that you're satisfied, so I'm satisfied. I'm just going to say, if you're listening, return phone calls. So that's all.
So I think that Ken reached out to all of us originally, and I've been working with him, and he's been very good about it. And I'm sure if you needed his phone number, I would have been glad to give it to you. So I think that conversation
I had a
goes both
conversation.
ways.
He was going to call me and make an appointment. I can take care of calling people.
Okay,
so.
well, I think it could have gone differently. It
Yeah.
didn't, but in the end, we got...
That's why I said that I'm glad you guys
done.
took care of it, and
That's
I
good.
trust it.
Yeah, so I think that Ken did a great job
Yeah,
getting
so-
to the end result.
So Brian,
Yeah.
I believe it might have been my fault, and I apologize. Ken had me be the liaison of trying to get the two parties together, and I've had like 3 or 4 meetings with him, and I apologize. It's probably on me for not getting to you. And
I forgive you.
But I did my due diligence. Councilwoman Daniele, Kenya, Ozzy, you know, I really did a thorough walkthrough.
Oh, I know you
like,
did.
I own the property, and this is what I expect to be done.
And I was very,
Correct.
very
All
glad
the
to
way
hear
up till
that.
today, all the way up till this morning. So people got to know me and got my phone number, so I would get texts from residents about things that aren't fixed. So I have Ken's phone number, so he got a direct
Yeah.
phone call from me, and they got
Right.
fixed. But it was right to this morning that something wasn't fixed, and I said to Ken, it's tonight, it's now, where we're gonna push it off. So I was at Dogwood today for 2 hours. They have a communication problem, so if there's an issue, the people think they have to call a certain number, the number wasn't the right one to press, so he's working on it with the people that work there, and hopefully the people that live there can get more information so that they actually know how to get help in the future.
You guys did good work, and I certainly appreciate it.
We good? So, moving on, privilege of the floor for agenda items.
Wait,
Yes.
We're moving this to resolution.
Yeah, but it's amended, because the
Amended.
wording is not the right one.
Becky. We good, Beck?
It was the one that I emailed, but that's not the one that's printed out.
I did whatever that gentleman from Horizons gave me.
No, it's not the same.
Yeah, there was
one.
another,
It's
yeah,
not
there
the
was
same. The
another.
one that the one that was emailed is not this one, so it's just the C part that says that they'll have a weekly
Yes.
check on it.
When we get to it, we'll amend
Yeah.
it, and you'll mention it exactly what we need to do.
Exactly.
Privilege of the floor for agenda items, please. Hi, Ms. Gatson.
How are you? Kenya Gadsden, Fishkill resident. So I just wanted to get clarification on item number 9, when for new employees, right? Not questioning your modification at all, but say a new employee to the highway department, will that person also be given that same grace to get their CDL through the town? Or is that only, like you have 2 vacancies, right? So will those 2 people that fill that void have the opportunity to have access to this free CDL? And then how long would the person have to stay, right, afterwards? Because a CDL gives you greater access to more money, and then it affords a person to be much more marketable, as we all know. So if you're giving all these CDLs because your goal is to actually ensure that the town is taken care of, but there's no stipulation on whether or not that person stays or the amount of time they stay, we will be in the same situations as when we hire police officers and put them through the academy, and then they leave because there's no, and then the town flip that bill.
Yes, so the openings, the MEO openings that's now requires a CDL.
What's
So
MEO mean?
Motor equipment operator. So that requires a CDL. So yes, for any employee that is going to get the training, and we're going to start training on a lot of things. Also from flagging to safety by going into a manhole. So there's a lot of training that we're going to implement, and we're going to start the training. We budget a bunch of money for training. For something like this, we looked at the long-term employees that have been here for a while, and we took those 3 as exception. We have more. But we should implement maybe they need to stay for a year if we give them the training or something like that.
Because if you're saying you're doing it for long-standing employees, but you have 2 employees coming in, right? They could be viable candidates, but they may be people that don't have their CDL. And so the cost of the CDL it's a lot to get that training, but then I know.
Yeah, it's like $2,500.
Right, my husband is a certified CDL driver, so it's a lot of money in that world, and so therefore, we're struggling to keep people at $20, $25 an hour, so if you give them that CDL, it does give them the opportunity to go elsewhere. So I think having something drafted that equals the playing field would be more beneficial to you, because then you'll actually be able to see, this is only my suggestion, I can't tell you what to do, the fruit of your loin, right? Because the goal really is to have a full operated machine that can provide the services, and so I think where you're going is good, but I think you need to put in some stuff.
Yes. So we're working with HR to implement a certain amount of time to, if you need to stay. So if you don't stay within that time, based on a prorated amount, you will have to pay back to the town.
Okay, and then so your new employees that are filling those 2 vacancies, they will also have that same.
So the new employees that are filling the vacancies coming, so MEOs have to have their CDL.
Okay.
So the mechanic and the MEO, motor equipment operator, we're requiring part of their hiring to have their CDL already.
Okay.
Because they're a higher paid.
Okay.
It's the laborers or the maintenance guys who are trying.
Getting the opportunity.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
thank you for
Great point,
clarifying
thank
that.
you.
And then for item number 17, the discussion on maternity leave. So as a person who had 3 children, my company that I've been with for 30 and a half years afforded us the opportunity to have FMLA, Family Medical Leave Act, and then there's now paid leave, PFL, right, paid family leave. And so I'm going to say that for a new mother or a new father, it's very difficult to leave your child at 4 weeks, right? It's very difficult to leave them at 3 months, right? Because that's what most employers give you. And then after that, you have to have something. So please, take your time in trying to give families the best opportunities. I love that you were inclusive of fathers. A lot of times fathers are left out of the loop, but now fathers they have been included in the whole Paid Family Medical Leave Act and in PFL. So just take your time so you could do it right. And then the last thing I have to say is on 19 about the extension of the tax exempt agreement for Horizon. So I've been dealing with Horizons for the past, I think, 6 years. It is a lot of hours, a lot of manpower to actually support the seniors over there. I will continue to say that the seniors over there are worried. They're worried about having stable homes, and they're worried about the people that provide the service. So none of them want to be the front man, so to speak. So I've been the front man for them. I passed the torch to Ozzy. We've been inclusive of Louise, and Carmine came on and assisted us with like the grounds, because that was an area that, although I said to them, if this is growing into your window, it should be cut, Carmine was able to use the language that made them realize that he's the expert here, and so this is what they need to do. However, if you grant this for them, and I agree that we need affordable housing, I am begging you to put in stipulations that will ensure that in the first 10 years, at year 4 or year 5, I'm going to say sooner, that they are complying with stuff. The reality is that when the pressure is on, when I wasn't a board member, they were snails. When I became a board member, they had great movement, you feel me? So then when I came off the board, I had to get Ozzy because, and Joel, Ozzy and Joel, like scroll in the hallways, to make sure that the power is there. So the power is in the town and in the seat. And so they see me as an advocate, but an advocate with people who have a great communication and relationship with the town, so they know that you guys are coming, right? So if you don't do this, what we experienced, Louise got it this morning, and I had it all weekend, right? So just imagine. And so they want a good home, they want it to be clean, they want to have heat, they want to have hot water, and the only way to guarantee that the management will continue to provide this service is if you guys keep the stipulations in place. No stipulations, no work. You get me? So your conscience right now, because I got no more power without you guys. And once you sign this, without the steps, there is no power. They will drag their feet and bottom. And Mr. Regan is very attentive to the phone, because I tell him he should be on the scene of Undercover Boss, because, the boss never really knows what's going on until they go undercover. And so his reality checks are now in his face, because Louise is like, I was very passive about it, but we all know Louise, if she has passion, then she pushes. And so she has pushed him to the point where I think he will put paper to pen and make sure that he does whatever you guys say, because he wants this just as much as we do, but he doesn't want to be backed into a corner where he can't perform. So please be very mindful of this, because there's no power without the people. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kenya. Anybody else?
Marie Campanaro, regarding the plowing services. I fully agree with Councilwoman Daniele. The first time this was brought to the board, I came up here and said the same thing. Very good societies, no problem with that, but I do not think that we should be giving these services. We give to one, now it's two. Who knows what's going to happen in the future, okay? And my last item is the Horizons. Great job you are doing. I think keep it up. Okay?
Thanks, Marie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marie. Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else? Mr. Cantor?
This is back to the tree preservation law. I probably should have mentioned this before, and I know we're going to be hopefully getting together and going through the law again, but I think I noted a correction that's going to need to be made. So just so we don't lose track of it, it's on page 24, section 146A. It's lines 7 and 8. I'll read the sentence to you. It says, "A tree preservation plan shall show site boundaries, all existing and proposed structures, easements, etc., and the location, species, DBH, and condition of all existing trees with a DBH of 12 inches or greater,
It's supposed to be 18.
and all trees proposed to be removed with a DBH of 12 inches and greater."
It's supposed to be 18.
And I think it's supposed to be 18 inches.
Carmine caught that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we can definitely make sure that that's corrected. That was the intent of our little committee. And do you have any idea when we're going to try to get back together and go through some of the other things?
Next week, us.
Yeah, definitely. Early next week.
Early next week.
Okay.
I'll reach out to you, Mr. Cantor, let you
Okay.
know. And I want to get this done before my last board meeting on December 20th.
Yeah, we definitely want it done then.
Great, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Ms. LaGoy?
Hi. In regards to the tree ordinances, and this is accessible online, right? I'm assuming that people can look at it online. One thing that I'm hoping that you are addressing appropriately is when people clear cut, that those trees are picked up. Because what I'm seeing on Route 9 is the developer was in such a rush to clear cut these trees and completely wiped out an entire environment, to rush before March 31st, or I think it's March 15th for the Indiana bat. So what's happened as it is sitting there rotting, it becomes another environment, which then will be cleared away. So not only is this developer, decimating environment, he's actually doing it twice. So I really hope that this is addressed. I'm going to be looking at that plan that's online, but you said it's part of the agenda packet, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Cantor?
Yeah, in response to Ann's comment, I think we did cover that in the new tree law. It actually gets into a good bit more detail on that tree felling exception section. Also, at the planning board level, we've actually had conversations with the Continental Commons applicant and have urged them to clear that site of the trees that were felled. This was several meetings ago, and they still haven't done it. So it's an ongoing issue. And I agree with Ann that it is something we definitely need to make sure is in the law properly, so.
When you've asked them to clear the trees, what have they said? I'm just curious.
Well, we required the applicant to submit a tree clearing plan after they felled the trees, and it had quite a bit of detail in it about the types of equipment and machinery and the paths that the machinery would take to remove the trees. And so they did a good job of submitting that plan, but they haven't actually implemented the plan that we authorized them to do. This is now going on for several months.
Really?
Are they in violation of your order?
Well, that wasn't exactly in order, and again, it's partly because I think our authority for that is somewhat limited under current regulations, and I'm hoping that the wording we've used in the new tree preservation law will take care of that, but that's something we can look at closely.
Yeah, that's something we're working on, and also identifying, and something that our building inspector wants to identify is when you do clear cut trees, there's some trees that are not Indiana bat trees that probably, don't need to clear cut everything. Some of them could stay.
Right.
So.
Right, good point. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Cantor. Anybody else before I? Yeah. Under consent?
Which one?
Number 3.
Number 3, under consent.
Yes.
Do you want to, we're
Let
going
her
to talk
talk.
about it? Go ahead, talk about it?
Oh, you want
to amend it, or you want to?
No, I just
No,
want to
no,
talk
no.
about it. I just want to mention it. So
Okay,
you
go
want to
ahead.
read the first, you want to read them?
I'm just going to do all, so why don't you talk about it?
Oh, you're just going to say
Yes.
consent agenda? So for number 3, it's a resolution to accept the resignation of future council member-elect Greg Tatino. He was the confidential secretary to the supervisor, and he has resigned. So I just want to thank Greg for all of the hard work that he's done for the board and for the community for the past 4 years. And he did a great job with all of the e-govs and helping us put together the Hometown Banner Hero. There's so much that he's done. So I'm very appreciative of all his work, and look forward to him filling my seat in the future and doing a great job with the community. Thanks.
Thanks, Greg. I want to make a motion to accept the consent agenda. Can I have a second? Second. John? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. I'll try to do the resolutions.
I had fun doing that.
That's good. All right.
The first resolution for the building, modification of $55,000. Now therefore be resolved, the town board of the town of Fishkill hereby amends the 2023 general aid fund adopted budget as stated herein. I'll present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
And number two, $10,000 for the pickleball, what is it,
We
pickleball?
have to vote. We have to vote.
For what?
Vote. So he seconded it, but we have to.
I apologize. Can I have a second?
I said second.
John, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and the second one is the pickleball, right? The second one is a $10,000 increase for parks. Now therefore be resolved, the town board of the town of Fishkill hereby amends the 2023 general aid fund budget as stated here, and I'll present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
John, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the next one is the pickleball courts. The first one was training. This one is $25,000 to increase the pickleball courts. Now therefore be resolved, the town board of the town of Fishkill hereby amends the 2023 general aid fund adopted budget as stated here, and I present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Seconded that, please?
John. Next up is modification of supervisor's budget for $4,000. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Fishkill hereby amends the 2023 general aid fund adopted budget as stated herein. I'll present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Louise, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 5, negative declaration of receipt. This is about the Roundabout Water District consolidation, the negative declaration under SECRA. Now therefore be resolved, the town board accepts and approves the said Edward Adam Frank, parts 1, 2, and 3. The town supervisor hereby authorized to sign the same, and number 2, after considering all the information presented to it, including the EAF, the town board adopts a negative declaration attached hereto. I'll present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This one's the Water District.
Got to go down to the determination.
Yep. Now therefore be resolved by the town board of the town of Fishkill, Dutchess County, New York as follows. Section 1, upon record before the town board, are hereby found and determined as follows. A, the notice of hearing was duly published and posted required by law and otherwise sufficient. B, the property and property owners within the said proposed consolidated Roundabout Water District are benefited thereby. C, all property owners benefited by the proposed consolidation of Roundabout Water District are included within the limits of the district. D, it is in the public interest to approve the proposed consolidation of the Roundabout Water District. Section 2, this consolidated Roundabout Water District, as more fully described in the map plan and report prepared by CPL Architect and Engineer and Planning Engineers duly licensed by the state of New York. Section 3, the consolidated Roundabout Water District shall be bounded and described as set forth in Schedule Adam attached hereto and made a part thereof. Section 4, the resolution shall take effect immediately. I present it as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Carmine, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Final order for the Roundabout consolidation. Now therefore be offered by the town board of the town of Fishkill, Section 1, the Roundabout Water District is hereby consolidated and expanded to encompass the include of all properties listed in the map plan and report. Section 2, the consolidated Roundabout Water District shall be bounded and described as set forth in Appendix A attached hereto and made part hereof. Section 3, the town clerk of the town of Fishkill is hereby authorized and directed to cause a certified copy of this order to be duly responded to the office of the clerk of the county of Dutchess within 10 days of the adoption of this order. Section 4, the clerk is hereby authorized and directed to file a certified copy of this order to the office of the State Department of Audit and Control, Albany, New York, within 10 days of the adoption of this order. Section 5, this order shall take effect immediately. I present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This one is the negative declaration for the sewer district. Now therefore be resolved that the town board accepts and approves the said Edward Adam Frank, parts 1, 2, and 3, and the town supervisor hereby authorized to grant to sign the same, and that considering all of the information presented to it, including the EAF, the town board adopts the negative declaration attached here to. Presented as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 9, more roundabout sewer district, certain determinations in regard. A determination now therefore be resolved, the town board of the town of Fishkill, Dutchess County, New York, section 1, upon the record before the town board is hereby found and determined as follows. The notice of the hearing was duly published and posted as required by law, and is otherwise sufficient. B, the property and property owners within said proposed consolidated roundabout sewer district are benefited thereby. Section C, all the property owners benefited by the proposal consolidated roundabout sewer district are included within the limits of the district. D, it is in the public interest to approve the proposed consolidation of the roundabout sewer district. Section 2, the consolidation of the roundabout sewer district as more fully described in the map plan and report by CPL, engineered, licensed, New York State, hereby approved. Section 3, the consolidated roundabout sewer plan should be bound and described as Schedule A as here to and made a part hereof. Section 4, the resolution shall take effect immediately. The foregoing resolution was duly put to a vote on a roll call, which is follows. The resolution thereby declared duly adopted. I'll present that as a motion and have a roll call vote.
We're on number 9, right? All right, just making sure. Councilmember Daniele?
Aye.
Councilmember Isfin?
Yes.
Councilmember Rye?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
And Supervisor Alba?
Yes. The same thing for
Can I have a second on that?
Second.
Final order, last one is the final order of the town board of the town of Fishkill approving consolidation of roundabout sewer district of the town of Fishkill, Dutchess County, New York. Now therefore be ordered by the town board of the town of Fishkill, Dutchess County, New York as follows. Section 1, the roundabout sewer district is hereby consolidated and expanded to encompass and include all the properties listed in the map, plan, and report. Section 2, the consolidated roundabout sewer district shall be bounded as described by, set forth in Appendix A, attached hereto and made a part hereof. Section 3, the town clerk of the town of Fishkill is hereby authorized and directed to cause a certified copy of this order to be duly recorded in the office of the town and of the clerk of the county of Dutchess within 10 days. After adoption of this order, Section 4, the town clerk is hereby authorized to direct and file a copy of this order to the office of the State Department of Audit and Control, Albany, New York, within 10 days. Section 5, this order shall take effect immediately. The foregoing order was duly put to a vote on a roll call, which resulted in the following. The order was thereby, thereupon duly declared adopted. I'll present the motion to have a roll call vote. Can I have a second?
Second.
Let's do a roll call vote.
Thank you, Louise. Okay, Councilmember Daniele?
Aye.
Councilmember Isfan?
Yes.
Councilmember Rye?
Yes.
Councilmember Foreman?
Yes.
Supervisor Alba?
Yes. We have one item for special consideration. Louise, can you handle that for us? to make sure
Yes,
it's done
please,
properly?
yes. So, it was very confusing, and it went back and forth numerous times, because in the beginning, they just wanted it to be, give them 30 days to like fix something, and we were going to do 1 year that the building inspector went. So we changed it to the building inspector shall go biannually, twice a year, and they were going to also inspect, besides code violations, safety and hazard violations as well that are deemed an issue. Becky, I know it's been like crazy back and forth that we went to, but, so this one that we printed out said approximate date. The one that we actually have on the email is more specific, because we like, I just want to make sure that that one is the one that you actually signed. So Supervisor, I'll just read it so you know.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Read the whole thing.
So, let's see, so the whereas, for the Exhibit B, extension of tax exemption agreement, this agreement dated, whatever the date is, between the town of Fishkill and a municipal corporation, state of New York, having its principal office in the town hall, 807 Route 52, Fishkill, New York, and Horizons at Dogwood Lane, a redevelopment company organized pursuant to Article 5 of the Private Housing Finance Law of the state of New York, having its principal office and place of business at 1055 Sawmill River Road, Suite 204, Ardsley, New York, that the developer, whereas the developer and the town have previously entered into a tax exemption agreement on May 17, 2004, copy of which is annexed hereto and made part of hereof as Exhibit A. And whereas the tax exemption agreement as executed on May 17, 2004 was for a period of 25 years, and whereas New York State PEHFL provides the town with the ability to grant an additional exemption for further period of 40 years. And whereas the developer seeks an additional exemption period of 40 years of the tax exemption agreement executed by the parties on May 17, 2004. And whereas the town and the developer have agreed that the extension of tax exemption agreement sought by the developer shall be, that's a tongue twister, yeah, shall be granted by the town upon a certain, where am I? I just lost my place. Shall be upon a certain condition. Now, therefore, in consideration of the foregoing, it is agreed between the parties as follows. Number one, the introductory paragraphs of this agreement shall be deemed incorporated into the same as it's set forth at length herein. Two, the tax exemption agreement executed by the town and the developer on May 17, 2004 shall be extended for a period of 40 years from the date of the execution of this extension of the tax exemption agreement by the town and the developer upon the following terms and conditions. In each year of the life of the tax exemption agreement or this extension of the tax exemption agreement, the town building inspector shall be able to conduct biannual site inspections for code, safety, or hazards that are deemed an issue. That was our big thing right there. In the event that the town's inspection shall confirm the existence of any building code violation, safety, or hazard, the town shall give notice of the same to the developer, and the developer shall have 30 days within which to cure the same. In the event that any violation of the town's building code, safety, or hazard issue is determined to exist by the town during its inspections, and in the further event that the issues are not subject to cure within the 30-day period provided by this agreement, the town shall extend the time up to a total of 60 days within the developer may cure such violation, provided that the developer has delivered on a weekly basis the status of the cure and the evidence to the town building inspector that it is proceeding with a cure of this issue, together with the status of the progress of that cure and an approximate time by which the cure will be effected. Let me make sure. Yeah, so they have to give a weekly update to Joel. Before, it was just kind of like, we'll let you know when we find the part. So that's a key thing. In the event that the town shall determine the existence of a violation of the building code, safety, or hazard issue at the premises, and in the further event that the developer fails to cure the violation within the time provided for that performance in this agreement, then upon 30 days notice to the developer, the town may adopt a resolution canceling this extension of the tax exemption agreement. So those were the teeth that we wanted to put in it. The extension of the tax exemption agreement embodies the whole agreement of the parties and supersedes all prior communications, representations, or agreements, oral or written. This agreement may be amended only in writing, duly executed by both parties, and witness thereof the undersigned. And it has supervisor and Larry's his brother, Ken Regan's brother, Larry. So I just want to make sure that is the one. So it's on our email, just to make sure that that's when we sign. So thank you to everybody that was involved in that. And Ken, we're hoping that you're going to follow through for the next 40 years and take care of those people. Yeah.
So present that as a motion, please.
No, Ozzy, I'm sorry. There's a formal written resolution that goes with it that includes certain other terms. You really want to adopt the approval by that resolution.
I thought that we were doing that separately.
You're doing the resolution separately from the agreement that
Are you
it's...
talking about the thing from the park? Or
No,
something
I'm talking
different?
about the resolution for the Horizons agreement.
Special consideration is the resolution.
Oh, did I read the wrong thing?
No.
No, you read the right thing. I thought a resolution was going to go with it. You'd want to do that under special
I thought
consideration?
that was it. Didn't I read
You could
the
do it under
resolution?
special consideration if you
Didn't I
want.
read it? I thought I read it. I thought that was like the part.
That's the agreement. That's not the resolution.
All right, stand by, let me look at it. Hold on.
Mr. Gallo, take
All right,
it.
here's a resolution, all right? For
Mr.
everybody's.
Gabbard, you have in front of you, sir?
I do, but if she wants to do it, please.
I'll do it. Let's see. Town of Fishkill Resolution, whereas the Town Board of the Town of Fishkill on April 21st, 2004, made its resolution pursuant to 111 of Article 5 of the Private Housing Finance Law, granting approval to a plan submitted by Horizons at Dogwood Lane LLC, as further described within the resolution, which is annexed hereto and made as a part hereof as Exhibit A, and whereas Horizons at Dogwood Lane LLC has requested of the Town of Fishkill that the tax exemption agreement authorized by the resolution annexed to Exhibit A be extended for an additional 40 years as of the date of the resolution, and whereas the Town of Fishkill and Horizons at Dogwood Lane LLC have reached an agreement upon terms for the grant of the extension referred to in the preceding paragraph of this resolution, where it's annexed hereto and made part of hereof Exhibit B, and subject to this resolution, whereas the extension of the tax exemption agreement set forth Exhibit B is subject to an offer of contributions made by the Horizons at Dogwood Lane, which is annexed hereto as Exhibit C. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board and the supervising agency, in accordance with the provisions of Article 5 of the Private Housing Finance Law, hereby grants approval to the extension of the tax exemption agreement requested by Horizons at Dogwood Lane LLC, subject to the conditions upon the following. All of the introductory paragraphs of the resolution shall be deemed incorporated into the same, and as it is set forth at length herein, complete with all conditions imposed on Horizons at Dogwood Lane LLC as set forth at length in the proposed extension of the tax exemption agreement. Presentation to and acceptance by the town of a suitable recordable covenant running with the land, identifying the obligations of confirming the extension of the tax exemption agreement and the obligations of Horizon at Dogwood Lane LLC. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board and the supervising agency hereby accept the contribution offered by Horizons at Dogwood Lane LLC to pay to the Town of Fishkill a source of funds to be used to meet their social, recreation, and cultural needs of both senior citizens who live in the project and neighboring community, which contribution is to be paid in the manner offered as set forth on Schedule C of the resolution attached hereto. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board and Supervising Agency pursuant to 125A3, Article 5 of the Private Housing Finance Law hereby agrees to extend to effect of the resolution adopted April 1st, 2004 for an additional 40 years from the date of this resolution. Now therefore be it further resolved that to the extent that the resolution adopted by the Town of Fishkill on April 21st, 2004 is not modified by this resolution, the same shall remain in full force and effect. And the other page is the actual numbers.
You don't need to read those, just...
The other page is the numbers of each year, what they will increase by. So should I make a motion for that? I make a motion to accept what I just read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So no more items of special consideration, we're done with that. So now on to new and old business. Brian, anything?
I'd like to use this opportunity to also thank the residents of the Town of Fishkill for granting me 4 more years to serve you. I'm going to look forward to working very hard for you. And my theme is, and I think we all agree, because I've had conversations with Ozzy, I've had conversations with Greg and John, that we just enter into a phase where we are truly, the theme is unity. There is so much controversy, as we know, in the world and in the nation. We don't really want that disunity here. We want to be able to have a conversation here, agree to disagree if we must, but we can certainly be civil and we can certainly be friends. And I look forward to the new board working together in solving great items that are going to be in front of us. And we have a couple of things we know we're going to do for the historical aspect. I look forward to working with the police department on a number of things which we'll be discussing. So that's what I wanted to say. Let's just work in unity.
Yep. I would like to add for discussion for Wednesday, January 17th, request by the Town of Fishkill Town Board for enactment of a special law, also known as a home rule request, amendment of the tax law, authorizing the town of Fishkill to impose a hotel and motel tax. Do I need a second to get it on discussion?
Second.
Put it on there.
Yeah, I didn't hear who seconded.
Brian.
Sometimes if you don't speak right into the, if you're leaning, I just can't hear you sometimes,
Sorry.
that's all. That's all right.
And I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
First of all, I want to thank everybody, even though I didn't have a hard campaign. I really felt left out
A
because
hard campaign.
I didn't have
Did
that I didn't have a hard campaign. I
You
didn't
can
have a
go
hard
out to the
campaign.
street corner and get 3,500 votes.
But I want to thank everybody. If you didn't vote for me, if you voted for me, thank you. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I do this and I work hard every day. Being a full-time employee and working here at the town, I'm going to kick it out of the ballpark, literally. Not bat it out of it, kick it. I'm excited to be part of the Highway Department, Buildings and Grounds. I look forward to working with the town board. The town board and the Highway Department, the Highway Super, we need to be tight. I need to work closely with the supervisor. I look forward to the future. And one thing that Supervisor and I can maybe work on, and this has nothing to do with this election, just in general, now that I know Kenya says, hey, look at my glass, through my lenses, through my glass, as I am now the Highway Super and the head of Buildings and Grounds.
Not yet.
Not yet, let me finish. Come January, I'd like to see, some of our areas like our parks, our right-of-ways, some of the areas that the town owns and maintains and mows. I would like to look at our current lawn, our sign lawn law that we have in place, not just campaigns, signs. I'm talking about in general, that these areas should be preserved to be off for general areas that we have to mow, maintain. It becomes a maintenance nightmare. It becomes an eyesore. Also, how many days before signs can be put out and how many days after they should be brought back in. We have stuff in place right now, and don't get me wrong, I've done it too. I put signs in places where I probably shouldn't have put them. But, you put them out and you want to be elected, so it's great. But I think we need to look at it, look at where they're being put. They shouldn't be put on our parks. They shouldn't be put on where our statues are, on our town property, like right outside here in our town hall. I just would like to have some continuity with some of that, especially when we maintain that. Safety concerns with visibility, and just overall signs that what they call bandit signs that are just put out there for no reason, that doesn't say who owns the signs. I think that there is a law behind that, and I think we need to address that. And Supervisor, I hope you and I can work on that.
Actually,
Absolutely.
Just so you know, Carmine, we do have the law regarding the signs, and they can be put out before, and then they have to be taken in so many days after, and I've spoken to Joel about this. I actually spoke to Joel about what I thought that you were going to bring up, and he said that you can put the signs, just not on the park property, but they can go along with the easement of the road is. So
And the easement.
they can, I don't think we need to make a whole new law and spend money on that, so it's just where they should be
Well,
placed.
I just want to identify is if we need to mow that, if the employees need to mow those signs, I just want everybody to know if they're on the parks area, which I don't think they should be, that they were going to be picked up and moved to the side. It's very hard for our guys to weed whack around them. They become projectiles. If they get caught in the mower blades, they can go out into a car, and it could be a safety issue. So this is something I would like to look at with you and I, Mr. Supervisor.
Can I interject, because I actually talked to Mayor Martin about this very same thing, and working in tandem, so we have a continuity with the village and the town. So I'm very interested in this as well. I'd like to be a part of the discussion.
And I know we do have stuff in place
Well, we do
already.
have stuff in place, and I'm going to talk about what you were talking about with the signs in a second. But, yeah, I think that there are some people, it depends on where the signs are, that, there's people who cut the grass on plazas, and like I said, Carmen, I think I told you, this guy was nice. Like, he picked up each sign, he put it against the pole, he weed whacked, and he put them back. Other people, like that was in front of the bank, I told you, I called you that morning, that person literally threw them in the road, and it was a hazard. So I picked them up, called Carmine, he picked up the rest of them. But where they are allowed to go, they're allowed to go. So it's up to the.
I literally
whoever's
picked
like-
up signs in the middle of the road.
No, I just said I did that too.
Yeah.
That was towards the end, like when, that was like one person who was, doing the cutting. I believe it was for the bank. But, so I have a different view of that. So when
Yeah,
you're done talking about that, I'll just say mine.
So there's the right-of-way and there's private property. So I just want to, and I'm not talking about people's, freedom of speech, no one's First Amendment.
Right.
What I'm talking about is areas where there became a safety concern. That's what we need to address, and I think both parties, or every party, or anybody in the town that's running, would understand and, be considerate to those rules.
Very good.
Yeah, I'd like to see X amount of days before and X amount of days after that, they gotta be removed.
We have a law already with that. Yeah, we have a law. Yeah, anytime before, it's just taking it
But
back.
what I'm saying is that,
Yeah.
sure, but
Are we
But
having an open
the-
discussion?
there's, like, there's been signs out 60 days before early voting.
Yeah, because we don't have a law that stipulates the timeframe, so I
Well,
called for
well,
clarification.
well,
So what
so-
you're trying to establish would make sense, right?
Yes,
You're saying
that's what I'm trying to
that you
establish.
want the signs out 3 days before, whatever, and there is an existing law in Fishkill that says that you must pick them up 3 days after the election is over. You have 3
Yes,
days.
so what I'm saying is that we're going to look at the current town law and modify it to what makes more sense. I'm not
Right.
saying that we don't have one.
100%.
I like the days before you put them out. I'd like to see that.
I'm very
Um,
interested.
Um,
Ozzy, since he's going to be highway, I want to be in on this discussion, so it won't be a meeting.
That's right. Louise?
Yes, sir. Okay, so just working off of what Carmine just said, and actually just a little bit of what Brian said regarding unity and civility, I think that we also have to look at transparency and truth. And I use those words, and I'll repeat them, transparency and truth, because regarding what occurred during the past month that led up to the election, and you're talking about signs, the fact that anybody would complain about signs that are not illegal or negative, they were factual. So I'm not sure which law you're talking about, but all of the signs were factual and true. So if you want to talk about truly negative and false political signs, we'll have to go back 2 years to when the supervisor wasn't even running, and signs appeared throughout the town that said Ozzy defunds the police. Completely untrue, political fear-mongering. Those signs did not disappear. They were not touched, even though they were complete lies. And I've had people, constituents call me up and ask me to address this as well. I'm not a Facebook person, but with this election cycle, we should talk about how our town attorney confirmed that the money reimbursed to the supervisor was not for a personal lawsuit, just as the prior town attorney did, yet that didn't stop the GOP from running a Facebook ad that was a lie about that for 2 weeks. There were also a lot of hateful Facebook posts, and the lowest, most disgusting ones were the ones regarding the supervisor questioning his service as a police officer, and the number of years he served or the awards that he received. To clarify that for those who have no idea about the supervisor, if there's someone talking, can you please stop talking? You should know that he was seriously injured while he was on duty years ago as a town of Bedford police officer. He was directing traffic at an accident scene. The car that hit him did not stop. He did not have enough time to get out of the way, so he jumped up, going headfirst into a windshield. He rolled off and landed on his head again. He was flown to Westchester Medical Center with such life-threatening injuries that in the end he had to retire on a disability retirement from his job as a police officer because of the on-duty injury. It doesn't matter if he had a day on the job or 25 years on the job. He almost lost his life doing his job as a police officer. And to the other person who questioned the judicial candidate Bill Laham's NYPD service, they should find out the outcome of a complaint before they post something. Both examples of people who claimed to back the blue but didn't. Instead, they thought it was okay to disparage them. They should get the facts straight next time before they speak so recklessly. I want to thank the supervisor and Bill Laham for your service to the public as a police officer, and for Mr. Laham, who also served during 9/11. I agree, I'm glad the election is finally over, but to not speak about what occurred would have been an injustice. Also, for old business, I'd like to remind the people on this board who continue to not fill out the disclosure forms to fill the disclosure forms out. We made a law for a reason, and people need to be able to know where you work, your affiliations, your legal address, and everything. And I believe one of the forms does not have correct information on it and should be corrected so that the people know. Like I said, transparency and truth is what needs to be had in this town. Thank you.
Is that?
What's the next meeting?
No, we didn't fill them out.
Huh?
We didn't fill out the forms. Oh, the forms, you said. The forms weren't filled out.
No,
Okay.
you didn't fill them out. Did you fill it out?
Of course.
You filled out the disclosure form?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so proud of you, Brian. I didn't know that. Thank you for doing that. Brian, did you fill out yours?
It's coming.
Ah, so he did not. So please be transparent and fill out your disclosure form, since we created the law previously, and we were supposed to do it ASAP, so that the people actually know all of the committees that you're involved in. And again, I'll say it again, transparency is the key, so that people know exactly who's on this board. Thank you for reminding me, Carmine.
So, so everybody knows that when you put a campaign sign out, if it's a positive sign and it says your name on it, it qualifies for a correct sign. If you put a negative sign on it, out there, and it doesn't say paid for, they call it a bandit sign. Those signs are illegal.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Yeah, so just so you know, to correct what Carmine just said, there's a part in the election law that he's referring to, which is an exception, but it is not as you state, and it is not a negative sign. The signs that were out were factual signs, and none of those other signs had, paid for by the Republican Party. The signs that you consider illegal or negative were not. They were factual. What was written on the signs were factual. So, and if that was the case, then they should not have been removed. They should have been questioned with the proper authority, not
Sure.
taken. But those are
Sure.
not negative signs.
Yeah.
Those are factual signs that were actually public service
And
announcements.
the Republicans could have done it too. I'm just saying in general, and I'm talking about party. I'm not making this about Republican or Democrat. I'm making about the pollution in our streets throughout our town and the village, and it looked like crap.
I don't think it's pollution. I think it's signs. I think it's
Yes,
free
it is.
speech. Absolutely not.
Let's do a poll.
No,
Let's do a
I saw
poll of
the
the
poll,
people.
Carmine. The picture that you had was not even close to what goes
My
on in our
picture,
town.
what?
I thought the
Your
election
poll
was
that you did
over.
on October 31st.
It wasn't a poll.
But, yes, I heard that there was a poll that you did. But anyway.
Are you
so-
stalking me on Facebook?
No, somebody sent me the poll, because they said that you sent a poll on October 31st, because I had a feeling you would talk about signs, so I wanted to be informed about it. So, I don't think it was bad. If you think it was bad, then that's your opinion, so people
You should
can
ask
put
the
them up.
people, the residents.
Well, you can do that, when,
I
you and I
did.
won't be here, so next year, the new board can discuss that if they wish.
Why, does my opinion count? Because I disagree with you, my opinion doesn't matter?
Of course your
It
opinion
looks
matters.
like crap.
You may think it looks like
What it
crap.
all look like out there, we all look like fools.
All right, you're getting angry, and
Yes, I am
nobody
getting
from the
angry.
peanut gallery needs to talk. You don't need to get angry. So what you're saying, you
I think we heard
It's my
comments from
right, so-
somebody else.
Okay,
so-
thank you, Carmine. That's your right.
Yes, that is
Okay,
your right.
so you keep on arguing with me.
This
Yes,
meeting was
because-
moving along
yeah,
so
there's
well.
there's no more, this
What
is
happened?
a call to order, Supervisor, because this is not anywhere for the
finish your
public
comments.
to talk.
Oh, Lord.
No, there's no more public talking here.
Are you
Yeah.
done?
Yeah.
Wait, you heard
respect your
public
opinion,
talking from
Carmine.
people in the back of the
I
audience.
respect your opinion, Carmine, and I have mine. And if you're speaking out of order, I say that, so that's it. We have no other public comment. It's out of order if anybody's not.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you
That's
done?
it. I'm done as long as there's no public comment, because there is no public
There is
comment
no,
right
we're
now.
past that. All right, thank you. My comments are simple. I got about 10, 12,000 left in my budget, because I'm not going to hire my replacement probably till January. So what I said, 12 grand. I'd like to get plaques made up for Judge Epstein, who's retiring, Greg for his service, a plaque for Glenn, and something for Louise. You guys okay with that?
Sure.
So if I
I
buy
think you
it,
should get one for Kathy as well.
Kathy who?
Kathy, Glenn Secretary, who served our town for many, many
Okay.
years.
I need a biography on her. I don't know anything about her.
Carmine to ask Glenn, possibly, Carmine?
Yeah.
Do we do one for Rhonda?
I did a proclamation for him, but yeah, you already got that.
proclamation?
Okay.
Yeah, we gave him a proclamation for that. Well, I don't want to get,
Who'd we miss?
I don't want to,
Who'd we miss?
I didn't miss anybody.
Oh, okay. I thought you said this one.
Who's on the list again?
Epstein, Greg, Glenn, Louise, and Kathy. That works for Glenn.
Well, we should give something to Carmine for his service, because he's leaving voluntarily.
Carmine, we
come
can't
on.
count on Carmine, he doesn't get a thing.
Well, I'd
He's even
rather
2
him
years, he's
than
been for
somebody
4
else on
years.
this board.
You can get one.
He might hit his head and decide he wants to stay.
Oh, maybe he
One,
could,
two,
that'd be
three.
a good idea, I would like that. Stay, Carmine,
And we could appoint a new
Yeah.
highway superintendent.
and then we'll pick a new highway superintendent, that's a good idea.
He's been working so hard for that, he ain't, he's
That's
got
a great idea.
12-6.
Are we finished?
No, I didn't get the plaques. And in the spirit of unity, I'd like to have some discretion to name the recreation center after former Supervisor Joan Pagonis. I'd like to get this done on December 20th, the last day of the year, and I hear a lot about unity, and we can build on the unity of our past to take us into our future. And I'd like to see at least I get 3 people to allow me to move forward with that for a resolution on December 20th. So
I'm a
just what are your
yes.
thoughts? Sure. Councilman Foreman's a yes, Councilman Rise a yes, Carmine's a yes, Louise?
I'll have to think about it, I'll abstain.
It's not a vote. I'm gonna put it on the agenda and I'm gonna order the stuff, and I just wanna make
Okay.
sure you guys are okay with it. Yep. All right, our next town board meeting, there's no executive session, there's no notices. Our next meeting will be December 6th, and happy Thanksgiving and God bless
Oh, yes.
America.
Happy Thanksgiving. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion to close the meeting. Can I have a second?
Second.
John, all in favor? Aye. Let me get back to camo.